Okay.
So
There was another like 15 minutes of that I apparently just took a picture of myself. But yeah, I couldn't do it over again, so that's what I ended up
yeah,
with.
exactly. Yeah, no, you're good. I understand when, because it's like, oh, I have 30 minutes with these kids.
Well, and then a bunch of people started walking in, so it was even more awkward.
Yeah. No problem. Okay, let me see what your questions were, because I did not review those yet.
Oh, no problem.
Let's see.
I think I have them right here if you want me to read them out. Or...
Yeah, I was looking at them, but...
Oh, okay, you got them, okay.
So, what exactly? So it says, first ask the colleague to observe your lesson or view the recording of your lesson, then participate in time reflection in which you articulate. So I'm guessing, so you were doing a reading lesson and started out with reviewing sight words with the kids, and then moved on to completing sentences.
Attempting to, yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward because of the age difference between some of those kids. Like, one kid is like a 4-year-old kindergartner, or TK even, I think. And the other one, oh no, he wasn't there that day actually, but there is one that's, I think, a TK. And then the oldest kid is a 3rd grader. So, you can tell, and he's the one that talks the most because he's more mature than the other kids are.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I find that awkward to do it that way. And this was their first time, so they started the year without a teacher. And I was their teacher for the first week or actually I guess it was the first full week. And they didn't actually they hired a teacher on the Friday of that first week. And she hadn't seen them before. So it was like they'd never actually had any teaching till that point this year. I had been working with them on a program called Teacher Monster to Read, but only the older kids could even handle that. So
yeah,
it's a cute little program though. But yeah, the 2 younger ones couldn't really do it, even though it is meant for, because they're behind developmentally. So
yeah.
It is meant for grades K through 6 or something, K through 5. But these kids they're performing below K level, the younger ones.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get them to do it.
What were your desired outcomes of the lesson?
Okay. So ultimately, their desired lesson is so that they can learn the sight words and use them correctly in sentences and stuff like that. But my personal desire was that they could just do the work that I was assigning them at that time. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I totally
Ultimately,
get that.
obviously, it's to get them where they can use these words and have mastery of language and stuff. But I was hoping they would just be able to go through it was I was working out of a SIPS book, which was telling me everything of what to do. They didn't want me to deviate from the book, so I tried my best just to do that.
Yeah, that was one of the things when I taught in Visalia that we used a program. It was called Fontes and Pinnell, and literally they had it scripted for us. And we, like, if I was being observed by my principal and wasn't reading the script, she would say something to me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Now, the principal there, I don't even think knew I was there, but for that whole week I was there. But still. Anyway, yeah. I have a list of questions. I don't know if you have them also, or I guess I need.
Yeah, I don't know if there's. This one just says, based on your analysis of student learning evidence, establish what has been learned and by whom. So that was kind of my learning outcomes question.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You should go through all 4 of those areas.
Okay. Brandy's telling me I should go through all 4 of those areas.
Hi, Alyssa. I'm recording for Joe.
Oh, she's recording.
Okay.
She's recording your voice also. So you're out there in the world now. You're off the grid. You're on the grid now.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So no, I hear what you're saying. I see. Yeah. What's the second question? Formulate how effective.
So formulate how effective your instructional design was based on your planning and teaching as evidenced by data collected on student process and products of learning. So I don't remember if you showed anything at the end of what you collected from them. There at the beginning, it was good. I liked your thing of how can mean 2 different things. It could be like a can of fruit or I can do something.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something when we're teaching little ones especially, giving them the multiple meanings is important.
So I had been working on them the whole week before on like words that had multiple meanings, or that words that sounded the same, like I and can, and that's why I emphasized that, because we were doing a lot of that. I did have the kids write down all the sight words, and I think I turned them into my class as like scans, but yeah, they were trying to work on writing the words correctly, but I was showing them the words, so they borderline were copying them, but they still, had to write them down. And several, like I'm looking at this one right now with one of the girl that's in kindergarten, and she was writing words, a couple words backwards, and she really has a hard time with her S's, that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of things you're kind of looking for. I know at that age, at least, that's one of those things they want me to make sure that, like this kid, this second grade girl writes her D's and B's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
But she both, and it's really bad because she's looking at it, so that means that she's not even seeing it correctly to do it correct.
Yeah.
So that that is an implication of possible dyslexia, at least slight. And the one kid wrote everything fine, the oldest kid, the boy. And then one little guy, he knows all the words, but he has a hard time writing them down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's that guy too. He's
one thing when I've worked with kids that's helpful is using something that's tactile versus just a pencil and paper. So I often take just a pencil box with a lid and I put rice in it and let them write out the words and rice. And they seem to one, they like to have something different in a lesson, plus it helps with motor memory.
Yeah. That's a pretty good idea.
But the only, like, critique, I guess I would say, is just to have everything you need right there. But, I mean, it's different because you're in somebody else's class, and it all just, you know.
Yeah. It kind of got, well, I mean, not to make any excuses, but they actually had half of they're making those group ladies move to a different classroom, so almost their whole classroom was packed up. So I couldn't even go get things if I needed them. So I had the book that I had, you know, I didn't even really need the book because I had already fortunately I'd taken notes from it and stuff like that. What I didn't have though is I didn't have the little stories that they were supposed to read, which they clearly got packed up.
Yeah.
But I kind of just made up a story. I don't know if you heard that. I was making up kind of I see something stuff.
Yeah.
I just made that up. I didn't know.
It's good, and I like that you were using hand motion to.
Mm-hmm.
It gives a little bit more of a visual, which does help, because I was guessing that you were with struggling learners.
Yeah.
Just because, one, it was a very small group, plus it was a reading lesson.
Yeah, they are.
They did struggle with some of the words.
Mm-hmm.
A little one was mispronouncing the.
Yeah, he kept saying "duh" or something like that.
Yeah.
He knows the words though. Like if you show it to him, he knows which. If I said "where's the," he'll find it. So he at least has that down. But I didn't. That wasn't part of the thing. I've observed him doing that. The lady that came in at the end, I don't know if you heard her. She was gonna take him right after I had him. So he's got a pretty heavy caseload. He's in mainline classes, but they pull him or have somebody with him all day long. He's kind of on the fence with that kid of whether he'd be full-blown special ed or not.
Okay. Well, moving forward, how do you plan differently based on your knowledge of student learning characteristics, both previously known and newly discovered? So, something you did observe, an age difference does make a factor. When planning, students always try to not just do like reading levels, but do developmental levels. So like I would try, if it's a kindergarten, first grade, fine. Second grade is beginning years okay. The year is okay to have like a K through 2 class, but after that it gets to be a little bit of like a social issue.
Yeah.
Because they are maturing, and
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that. I did a class yesterday. What was it? They were in a special ed class yesterday, and I noticed there was a third grade kid, and he's pretty big, and he was touching he was a little too touchy, and I thought, oh man, he shouldn't be with these little tiny kids, like.
Yeah.
But that's the way they have them separated.
One of our things with No Child Left Behind.
Yeah.
So we don't want a kid who's so much larger with these little kids because they could injure them, or just visually you can tell things are different. They become ostracized just because of being different.
Yeah.
Versus having where we do peer groups, and we do where there's an older kid with the little kids, but they're teaching them a lesson. Say it's a social lesson of how to share or something.
Yeah.
That's more of a helpful thing versus a
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a hearing impaired kid in the class that I had. This doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but and he was
Yeah.
throwing a fit, and this older kid was like using that so he could get away with being a bad kid too. And I thought
Yeah.
his aide was very upset with him.
Yeah.
So I was like,
But what are some things with your lesson that you observed yourself that you could do differently?
So I think I definitely would have made sure I had all the correct materials with me before I even started. Unfortunately, like I was just guest, came in, walked in, and then I don't want to even talk about that, but I had some difficulty getting it started and stuff because first of all, the teacher is brand new there. She didn't even know where any of these kids' classes were, so that took a lot of I just time management perhaps, and preparedness I guess is included with that.
So with question 3, it's asking for which additional differentiation strategies and multi-tiered levels of support you would consider. You did have multiple levels of students, but I always feel like when they ask that, it's more of a whole class idea versus small group. But even with small groups, it's, say you have your kindergartners doing the ICA, and you could have stickers for the word that they're working on, so duck or whatever.
Yeah.
Versus the older kids could be writing it out fully. So that would be something you could do.
Yes.
Consider doing.
I agree. I think the younger kids definitely. It's kind of. I felt sorry for the older kid, the boy. They're too slow for him. This is all easy. Yeah. He's done all of it before.
Yeah.
So he's up to an age now where he's like, it's not hard anymore. But he's not ready. I mean, the way they have it divided, he's not quite ready to go to the next level because those kids are way bigger than him, and I don't think he would be comfortable with those kids. It's kind of a, weird cat. 3rd grade is an odd age, I think, in elementary school, because you're either the biggest kid on the little kid side or the very smallest kid on the big kid side. So and that school happens to go to 8th grade. So they have, they have kids that are with hormones and stuff out there with them sometimes. So.
Yeah.
But I guess that's my answer.
Yeah. How will you modify, extend, or incorporate new levels of presentation, expression, and engagement for each learner's group as it relates to their processes and products of learning? That's a question for you to let me know. What would you do to modify or extend? You were talking about time management.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's that little kind of stuff, but I find it hard to modify too much when they have IEPs like that, because I'm not they're not on my case, they're on somebody else's case, and so I don't want to modify it too much. Now, if I was the actual teacher of the class, I probably would handle some of the stuff different. Like, I would give them a multi-tiered way of learning, that's for sure, especially when this happened to be English, but I teach those same kids with math too. And especially with math, there's so many different new ideas out there of learning. So I think I would experiment, because I worked with in a different school district, and they were doing a completely different style of math last year, and for some reason it's lost my mind, but it's really, they do a lot of the blocks and block numbering and that kind of stuff.
And all that.
Yeah, and all that. I know that works with certain kids, so But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I answered the question. or not. Brandy's looking
A
at me
little
like
bit.
Brandy's looking at me like she doesn't know if I answered it either.
Well, like,
So,
how would you
some
reteach, like,
engagement
the kid
strategies
that
that
wrote
you
it
would
backwards
use.
the C?
You did have one student who seemed rather quiet.
Yes.
How would you pull? I'm pretty sure, pardon me if I'm incorrect, it was a little boy who didn't seem to engage very well in the lesson.
Yeah, okay. So I've seen that kid the whole time I was there, but that was his first day in that group, and he's really shy. So I wasn't surprised that he was real reserved because he'd never been with a lot of those other people before, especially the oldest kid, and he has clearly ADD, and so you can't see him because I wasn't recording, but he's getting up a lot while we were doing it, and that's why I was having to kind of watch him a little bit more than the other kids. He can't really sit still, so that was a part of it. And then when I'm talking to him, he's thinking about 400 other things. So that's one. But he knows his word. He does know the words pretty well. I see him because he has an individual person that worked with him directly after that, and I see her working with, and he does really good with her. So, I mean, obviously she's with him. She's been with him every day of the year. So,
Yeah.
there's that.
I mean, again, it's just ideas to throw out.
Yeah.
I've had students who we had chairs that were like bouncy balls.
That's what they have those wobbly chairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The wobbly chairs.
Yeah, they're pretty cool actually.
Or we've had like these cushions that were kind of bumpy, so when they would move in their seat, it gave them like the extra stimulation they need to focus. So those are some things for engaging you could do, or like Velcro so they can feel the table.
Yeah.
Or just different things like that.
Of the four, I think it was 4 kids at the time. Of the 4, he's the most I don't know his IEP exactly, but he's the most likely by sight of having some form of autism too, because he's he's not very connected with what's going on. So I mean, that's the only observation I would say that of any of them where I would think that they were developmentally challenged to any specific way.
Okay. Well,
The rest were they were a little, I think the other ones might have been ESL for the most part as part of their problem. So that is obviously a learning, that does make it hard to learn when you don't hear English that much.
Yeah. When it's unspoken in the home, but you're just getting introduced to it at school.
Yeah. And like one of them was a kindergartner and the other one was a first or second grader. So they don't have a lot of, they're just barely in school even.
Yeah. Okay, well, overall, I feel like you did what your learning design was supposed to be. Again, which you already stated, to have all the things that you needed would be like the biggest thing for it. You turned in your evidence to your teacher, so when you go back and look at what they did, you're stating you could see how the one student is looking at things and seeing them visually incorrect for the B's and the D's.
Yeah.
And strategies, again, for students who have visual processing is to make sure that you're using something that's more tactile, more hands-on, to, one, keep them engaged, two, motor memory is one of the best ways a visual processing disorder.
Yeah, that's really good.
Other than that, I think you've answered all of your questions and got everything done.
Well, thank you.
Of course. If you have any questions for me or anything else that you need to talk about?
No, I think that's good, Alyssa. Thank you very much.
No problem. Anytime.
Okay, we'll see you later.